Hey guys, welcome back to after the Thanksgiving holiday, and I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. And we're back for another exciting episode of Yomo. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast, and today we're on Reflection 332, and it's part 202 of the book we started, a week ago.
Yeah. It's probably the longest break. I feel like there was not a long holiday, like one of us taking a vacation. Yeah, it's been a feels like it's been a while.
A little bit weird.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. The I don't know. We were just catching up about Thanksgiving, but I like legitimately, I'm still full right now. I don't know why. I need to go. I need to fast for like the next week is what I need to do.
Yeah, you need to fast for the next 2 days.
Oh, I just can't. Like it feels like my stomach just will not not be full for it's just every time I eat a meal, I'm like it just makes it. Even if I'm eating light for the day, just everything still just feels so heavy in my stomach.
Right.
But anyway, it was delicious. I love Thanksgiving, always good time. But we're back. So part two of The Sixth Extinction, An Unnatural History by Elizabeth Colbert. This reflection title is well, just a recap of the book. This book's about like the five mass extinctions that have happened throughout, the history of I guess
Earth.
Earth, yeah, life on Earth, and the sixth extinction is us, essentially, all the things that humanity is doing to kind of bring a lot of it to bring a mass extinction event to the world, and maybe to ourselves. This is what the book's about. It's an interesting book. I actually really enjoyed it. Learned a lot. Thought it was really interesting. So I would highly recommend it. But spurned two reflections, and this is the second one. So this one is After Catastrophe, New Life. So I started this reflection off with actually taking a trip back to Short History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson, and the reflection that I wrote after that one was Life Goes On. I'm sure you probably don't remember it because that was a really long time ago, but distinctly remember reading that book, and he went through like all the different periods of the Earth's history, and going through like just a short history of nearly everything, right? He's just speeding through it all, and I remember about 3/4 of the way through that book, like the one thought that I couldn't get out of my head was like shit, it doesn't matter what happens, it doesn't matter what gets thrown into life itself here on Earth. Like life goes on. I mean, whether it's the same people, same faces, same species, same whatever, it's kind of irrelevant. But like life itself endures, right? And that's I don't know why it does it. That's not even a question that I even know that my brain could even fathom at this point in time, of why does life exist in the first place. But
it has to exist. Without exist, the Earth won't exist. Because you think
exactly.
about it. I mean, you think about it. May I ask you before, how does if you're talking about the Earth itself, right? Where does wind come from?
I don't know, the rotation, I don't know.
It's part of it, but rotation doesn't create the wind. It's the hot and the cold creates the wind,
Ah,
right?
yeah,
Because the tree, right, when the tree grows, right, and the sun shines
yep.
on it, and because rotation moves it, right, and
Mm-hmm.
so you create a cooling spot. When there's a cool spot, hot air from outside is gonna flow into that, and then it cascades, and so wind is created by the air, the flow of air, hot air, cold air, right?
Right.
And so because you have trees, right, trees create shades. Shades
Mm-hmm.
creates the I guess the differences in terms of the temperature, right?
Right.
And because the Earth is round, if the Earth doesn't move, right, the air is always constant. In one area is hot and one area is cold. It's always going to be constant. It doesn't move, but
Right.
because it's moving, so that's part of it. And because it's moving, but some part of it is being shaded, it creates a pocket of cool air,
Hmm.
right? It cools the air, and then because it's cool air, it creates hot air. Say, hey, I want some cool air too, so equilibrium starts. So
Right.
it goes and flows into the cool air, and that creates a chain effect with many things. So you're talking about like the ocean, the fish, everything comes from the movement of life.
Right.
Without the movement of life, the Earth won't exist. It won't have enough to even spin,
Right.
right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And the thing is, because tree needs us and we need
Wait,
tree.
are you saying that life spins the Earth?
No, I'm talking about the way the Earth, the way the Earth has the ability to sustain life, and life is part of the Earth. And without the Earth, who knows what's going to happen to it? It stops spinning.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure, but I think because you're messing with an ecosystem that's created, therefore it could have stopped just because there is some off balance, off tilt, some sort. The Earth may stop spinning, and then the Earth, becomes not Earth anymore, becomes some barren desert or become barren moon or something like that. You think about it, right? And so the rotation creates life, but the rotation of life, it actually feeds it. You know how there's a spiral loop, right? Just like you and me, right? You and me in a well. That you say, hey, do I depend on Chris, or Chris depends on True to get out?
It's mutual, right?
It's mutual, exactly. So I think in a way the Earth, because the spin of itself gives life, but life is what sustains the spinning.
Right. So it's like yin and yang. It's the
yin and yang, right? So I think that without life, without the other, so like for me, it's like, hey, let's take all the animals from the Earth. No trees will exist. It will stop. It will start to die because it needs carbon dioxide, right? So there is a mutual symbiosis in an ecosystem.
Right.
This is why nature itself is a zero, it's a what you call like a perpetual motion. It's free energy. It's free.
Right.
It's
free lunch.
because
The free lunch, like
the free lunch discussion we're talking about. It's free because what I need comes from something that
your waste is somebody else's fuel and their
and vice versa. Like
we're
composer and then the decomposer, right?
Right.
So there is a cycle, because if we continue to build and create and do all this thing without the composer, right, we're gonna be living in trash. Talking about millions of years, right?
Yep.
Millions of years. We have to have the composer that brings it down to earth and make it into the ways. Hey, put them back to the natural environment for us to go and use the raw material again, right? To start making stuff again.
Building shit. Yeah.
So that's the thing. Is I think there is a symbiosis of an ecosystem for the life on Earth to sustain itself. Because without life, I can't say for certain, but I think the Earth may not continue to spin, and it might continue to be Earth.
Could be. I don't know. I mean, like this is my like I don't like, maybe my brain hasn't gone far enough on this journey to fathom the meaning of life itself. But I know the meaning of my life now at this point in time through this journey.
But that's the point. Is I don't think life has a meaning.
I don't either.
As a universal sense, but it has a meaning to the individual person. There's an individual meaning in life, but there isn't a universal, because life itself is just, hey, you just exist. But life to a person is right.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
There is always a reason for you to exist, because the moment you say, hey, I don't desire anything in this journey of life, then you probably won't survive, because there's nothing for you to hang on to. Whatever, it's just, hey, I might as well pass on to the next thing, whatever it is, or cease to exist, or whatever the thing may be. Because life to me is a dynamic, like a more or less like a treadmill of the universe. You have to be on it.
Keeps going.
And it moves all the time. So to be existing in life, you still have to keep up with the treadmill.
Right.
And so if there is nothing for you to desire in the life, you just stop. And when you stop, like a treadmill, when you stop, it's just gonna push you back until you cease to exist. So if you don't desire anything in life, you don't exist for that long, because eventually the treadmill is gonna push you all the way back to oblivion.
That's a good analogy, because I mean you got to fight. You got to keep fighting every day.
To exist, you have to fight to exist, because you're on a treadmill. You have to continue to keep up with the motions of the universe.
Right. Exactly. No, I think that's a really good analogy. So so this is where this reflection started, right? Was going, I mean, life goes on, right? And I remember just thinking at that time of this journey, this was so early on in the journey. This was like a profound thought for me at the moment, because this was around a few months after my daughter had passed away, right? And I was like, struggling for a lot of answers as to why did this happen to her? Why did this happen to us? Like why, I don't know, like why, and I had this, read this book and just had that thought of like, well, I don't know why it happened to us, but life is in good hands still. Like it's gonna be okay. Like life will continue on. Like I have to figure this out. I got to continue on and figure out, the rest of my existence while I can, and don't fall back on the treadmill, and and keep pushing forward, because that's what Amelia taught me, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So it got me to thinking, as I'm reading this book, about mass extinction events then. And I'm like, well, if life goes on and we know that it's going to continue to endure, most likely, I'm sure that there's some black swan event out there that, will eventually completely destroy every piece of life, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I assume that's probably possible, but like at this stage, like I have no idea if and when that would happen, and it probably won't be in our lifetimes. But maybe we started to think about, what's the point of a mass extinction event? If something that's trying to kill off all life on Earth, and it's kind of a fool's errand, really, in a lot of ways, because life always goes on. It may take 5 million more years for the bacteria that survived, or the mammals that were tunneled down into the ground to emerge and go find new ways to survive and grow and thrive. But it's like, it got me thinking, like, what is the point of this? Like, if everything that the world tries to throw at at life itself, like life endures, like what's the point of a mass extinction event? What are your thoughts before I go into what my thought was of it?
There's no point. To me,
A mass extinction event?
There's no point to a mass extinction event. There's not like, hey, there's a grand design. This is what we're talking about, the design of no design. Right? Because there is not really, hey, I'm going to design a 10 series of mass extinctions, and this is each extinction is going to start at this day, and it's going to be in 5 million years before this comes. There's not a single designer that designs it for a certain purpose or reason. It just happened because you have the right conditions. When there's the right conditions, things will happen. It's like, hey, there is a like the law of physics, right? You're talking about, hey, there are two masses. It's gonna have the attractions, right? And the attraction say, hey, that's why you have gravity, right? Because so there is a universal law that was created, but that law governs. It has no sentient in saying, hey, I'm going to design something. I'm going to design this spinning wheel, right? Whether there's hurricane, whether there's El Nino, it has nothing to do with, hey, I wanted to have El Nino. I want to have, like the tsunami. It's just, well, if something breaks, every single action has a cause and effect, right? When you do something, there is a certain effect, right? What caused something and what is the effect of it? So it's always cause and effect, and these are the universal law that was natural to us, which we don't know why, but it is there. And so we're talking about, hey, you have this round spinning mass, right? And it has trees in it, and because it has tree and the sun is shining on it, and certain spots of the tree, it's going to cool because of shade. And then because of the law of the thermodynamics, it's going to create this potential of hot air was cold. The cloud is
like a big ass tree.
Yeah, it is, and cloud plays a part in the I guess the creation of the wind as well, right? So anything, but the concepts are saying these are universal concepts, that it's there. We don't create it. We just observe it and say, hey, it's there. Hey, there is, the clouds comes in. It because the sun soaks up the water, right? Water heat rises, but it can't rise above the stratosphere, so it stays in there, and it clumps together. It gathers, and then it blocks the sun. It creates the air, right? And the air moves it. right? And so these are things that's there, but it's not like, oh, there is an intent for some event to happen. There is an intent for the design of how system works, right? This attracts to that. Air has this property, blah blah blah. All these things is there, but it's not like I want an El Nino, I want a thunderstorm, I want uh, Hurricane Rita, Hurricane Ike, whatever.
Right.
There is not that intent of an event. So to me, an extinction is an event. There's no event. There is a hey, there are cause and effect. These are natural laws of
Right.
the chemistry of the known universe. These are the physics law and the chemistry law of the universe. What happens is going to be by chance. So like for you and for me to get together, it's by chance.
Right.
Right. And so the sixth extension is say, well, you create extensions or you don't have to, because it's not like I predetermined that it's going to be an extension.
Right.
Right. So you say, hey, there is a sixth extension or the seventh extension or eighth extension, right? It could be none because it's up to the condition whether the condition is met or not. So to
Yeah.
me, it isn't something that was designed. So as far as the sixth extension or the extinction, a mass extinction in my mind is over so many years, all the variables gonna line up. Just like how all the people say all the stars are lining up, right? That is take a very very long. Just like hey, I'm gonna flip a coin 50,000 times. I want to be able to flip it head 50,000 times in a row. Is there a chance that would happen? Probability, there is a chance, right? And so you're talking about the same condition for these variables in these things that create extinctions. So there is a chance. And so it's not really a reason. There's no reason for a mass extinction.
But I'm going to try to make one. So my thought, I don't disagree with what you were saying. I think you provide some good food for thought. My thought is personally, the point of a mass extinction event is people that survive the mass extinction event, the life that comes back and grows back is that much stronger. I don't understand it, and I don't know why. Like, I mean, obviously the life that was able to survive, for whatever reason, is you learn a lot of lessons when you survive a mass extinction event. Honestly, you rebuild in a different way with you don't forget it. Like, I mean, I think this is like the ultimate stressor of not for an individual, because an individual is going to die, right? Like, but life itself doesn't, right? So life gets tested by a mass extinction event, and life gets stronger in general, and that somehow gives me faith to know that if you are one of the lucky ones that does survive a mass extinction event, you survive it stronger, and you definitely learn lessons that other people did not understand beforehand, because you didn't see that coming. All the stars that you just said aligned, and created this black swan anomaly that just took out 99% of the world, but you survived. Like, and the life that does survive, like, has a duty to keep fighting and keep going on and take the lessons from the past. And if you're one of those lucky ones that does get through it, after catastrophe is a totally a new life. It's like I've talked about this so many different times with the whole atomic bomb, metaphor, but it's like not a lot of people survived that atomic bomb, but the few people that did, they came out of that thinking differently, and they came out of it with a different life, different perspective, and a different path forward. I don't know what it is today and what that will take us to thousands and hundreds and millions of years down the road, but those people survived. The people that survived, pandemics of the past, right? Like, are the reason why we are what we are today. The reason why you and I are able to exist in the world as European dominated world is because a lot of people died, and the people that survived then, had a different perspective. Maybe that was why the madness gene exists. Maybe that's why they kept pushing and they kept traveling all around in all different places of the world. Maybe that's what came out of it. I don't know. Maybe that was the lessons that we learned from the last, individual. Like, we're talking about mass extinction events on a grand scale, but like extinction events happen every single day, everywhere around this world. I mean, there's there's life forms in this world that are fighting for their existence every single day. And either they're going to make it through or they're not. And whoever does make it through will be stronger and have new life on the backside of it. This isn't survival of the fittest in my mind. I don't think that does it justice, to be honest with you. I think this is it's a different paradigm. Like if you survive, like life only grows stronger. Not because you're more fit. It's just you've endured like it, and that lesson is ingrained into you, and you can't forget it. It's just like one of those things, I don't know. Yeah, that was where this was going is, for me, a lot of synergies, not synergies, but a lot of, what do you call it? Connections to Amelia, and how I feel after her passing, and the extinction event that tried to take her from me. Like I learned from that. I survived it, right? Like
so that's the thing, I think there is not, because a lot of times when people talking about different I guess talking points, they either say, hey, there is the one side versus another, right? They always say, hey, I take this side. I take whether hey, I'm a spiritual explanations or scientific explanation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing for you is you say, hey, there is a survival of the fittest explanation, and there's this other things that is not fitting to the survival. Because you saying, hey, the survival of the fittest doesn't do justice, right? Because the thing is, it's not about one or the other, right? You're asking me, hey, should you take the blue pill or the red pill? What did I say?
Both.
Exactly. So
right.
It's a combination of both. So because you think about it, it is survival of the fittest, but it's not all survival of the fittest. Because the thing is, the person that survives has to be fitted to survive. But because they survive, they grew stronger because they experienced the learning process. And because of, so it's not just because the thing is, if you're too weak, you have no opportunity to even learn and level up, right? So imagine again,
or just lucky, or to be lucky. Like it doesn't
to be lucky,
to
be lucky, and so the survival of the fittest doesn't explain everything, but it plays a part. So you can't say because it doesn't fit, you ignore completely. So I say to you that it's not just one side or another, it's a combination of both or more than both. To say, hey, because you and I either was able to survive by luck, by ability to survive the weeding the weeding of the universe, or whatever you want to call it. And then after that, we have used that experience to level up, and because of that, we have become a little bit more fitted. That more fitted offer us opportunity to be more to level up even more. So you think about this.
It's not even a level up. I think you're selling that short. It's you're on a different game. Like you move to a different game. Like
exactly. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean, but to bring it to the to make it easy to extend is you are become a much stronger individual. In a way to best describe it, hey, you are on a different level.
Why? I don't know. Like, is the point? Like, I don't know
why.
I'm still here.
We don't know why. This is the observation that we've seen, because we've seen the explanations of survival of the fittest, right? The survival of the fittest has only one dimension, which is, hey, I'm stronger, therefore I survive. But the moment you survive, right? Let's say you can hold your breath for 1 minute, right? You hold your breath for 1 minute, and suddenly God basically drown the world for 58 seconds.
Yep.
Right? Yes. You the one was either have a strong lung to begin with, or you did it Wim Hof because you were lucky that you found Wim Hof and you were able to hold your breath for 1 minute. And then, but the thing is, after that one, after the extension of some like God drown the world for 58 seconds, the one that can breathe, right? They don't just stay there at 1 minute. They continue because they've seen the disaster. And not only that they continue to be strong at that level, but they become stronger because they see something. And so when you say, hey, the survival of the fittest, hey, I can survive I can breathe, I can hold my breath for 1 minute. The thing is, the explanation in that regards only say, hey, you're only that fit, that survive, that strength, that ability to hold the breath for 1 minute. It doesn't change the fact that that moves, right?
Right.
If you explain the survival of the fit, that never moved, and the next time God drowned the world for 1 minute and 5 seconds, you would die because you will survive the fit. But because we have this dynamic species that are like species on Earth are very dynamic, meaning that
Not just
once
us. I mean, other all species,
exactly
but
exactly
we're talking about
our
this on a
species,
micro level and a macro level. You know,
we,
like
we
it's
should
it
we should
all.
have we should have a higher I guess probability of learning from what we see, our
I don't know
input
that that's true. I mean, maybe we did. Maybe that's why we learned. Maybe that's why humans have
I
evolved
think our
into an interesting
species learn. I
consciousness.
mean,
Yeah,
our
right. Yeah,
species learn. Even trees learn, right?
right.
But the speed at which the species learn, I think, at different rate. Because you look at humans, right? We learn pretty quick. For
Well, we've also
elephant,
tried to kill ourselves off about 100 fucking million different times. You know, like I mean, ourselves. Like I mean, like you think about all the different viruses and bacterial things that we've injected into our life because of our social needs, right? We've like what I mean. Like we brought that on ourselves. Like
but that's
nobody
not that.
said you needed
Yeah,
to come
but I'm
together
saying
and
is
live in
that
cities.
has nothing. But the thing is, yes, it is a cause and effect.
Right. I'm not
Meaning
saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying
we
that we
are
didn't
we are
choose. We didn't
create
need
we
to.
are creators, right? So we
Right.
create things, right?
Yeah.
When we create things, right,
We fuck
something
shit up.
we're gonna have to
Like,
get raw material from somewhere, and
right.
something's missing, right? Because the thing is, no two objects can occupy the same spaces at the same time. So we're moving it, and so
Right.
that the cause will create an effect. There's a ripple effect, and that effect is by probability. If things align, we kill ourselves.
We do a lot of stuff. Maybe that's the truth, is we do more than any other species does that's outside of our predefined box. Like we
But
just
that's
do
what I'm
a
saying is
lot of stuff.
who predefine anything.
I don't know. I mean,
It,
I mean,
and that's the
evolution, I
thing
guess,
is
but
when you say predefine, somebody has to predefine, because you're talking about human as itself. You say, hey, we do too many things outside of our design, our predetermined a lot of activities. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, because who is the designer of the world, right? So I'm just saying, hey, there are cause and effect. There's a probability things will align to a certain point where things will happen, event will happen. And
right.
so because of the dynamic
That's
variables
exactly when things
in
happen. An
life,
event, right? Right.
right?
Yes.
So it's not like we did it. Yes, we did, but we didn't, because it's not like we wanted to. It's just like, hey, we wanted something else, but because we didn't know the full ripple effects of what we did, it backfired, right?
Right.
Right. Let's say I want to create a fire to make to cook something, right? I end up burning the forest. And so, did I want to burn the forest? No, I didn't want to
No.
burn the forest. Because we have the intentions, whether good or not, depending on perspective. Because from my perspective, it's good. I would just want to, cook some food for myself, which is good,
Right.
right? And I might be, hey, cooking some food like next to somebody's house or whatever. That's not good from the person who's living in the house. Their perspective is bad, because
Right.
from my perspective, the way I did it, it's good, because there is a reason for me to start a fire, right? There's always a desire or want, but there's always cause and effect, and that effect creates the events that you see today. And so you can say, hey, we did it to ourselves. In a way, yes, physically we did, but not really, because we did not cognitively, consciously wanted that effect.
Oh no, but it happens, and then you learn, and then it happens, and then you learn, and then it happens, and then you learn, then it happens, and you learn. This is my point, though, is like it's not another level up; it's a different game. Every single time that we've learned, like it's a different game after Hiroshima, and fell like and changed everything, right? It's like, oh well, different game. Okay, like we need to figure out how to, not do this shit. You know what I mean? Like we're no longer playing a game of, well,
Yeah,
let's
it
fight with each
changes
other.
because
Let's,
an event
whatever. Like,
happens, right? An
right.
event happens, it changes the game. It
It
changes
changes the game.
the
Yeah.
game, the rules of the game because it's so dynamic. So you are on a whole new different level.
Right.
That's why
Right.
you're not the same person. Hey, I survived the 58-second drown, and then I have two more second cushion, and then the next time, if I don't have it, next time you're gonna be like 6 minutes.
Well,
So
yeah.
I think
Next time you'll invent new ways to to breathe. Like, like, I mean, it's a or I don't even know what the ramifications are. But the point is you're like, oh shit, well, like we can't have that happen again. Like, or when that does happen next time, like this is how
because
this
you
is
learn that,
right.
because of your ability to level up to a different level, to a different, whole new game, right? Then in its definition, you become stronger, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that feeds the survival of the fittest theory,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And
I
so
don't know if it's survival of the fittest. Maybe it's survival of the luckiest that learns.
well,
Lucky learns.
but lucky creates the ability for an opportunity for you to become stronger, become
Right.
more
Or
fit.
to learn.
So it's a intertwine of two or more theories, because you can't say I'm going to defend the survival theory, the survival fittest theory, or defend this dynamic learning theory or whatever, right? Because the thing is, it's intertwined of more of two or more. I'm saying is there more than we know.
Right.
There's so much more than we are able to understand, and
Yeah.
we can't say, hey, there is definitely only on one side, or definitely only, and that is the fallacy that I've seen a lot of people do, is they only take one side, and they completely like dismiss the other side. They completely dismiss the other side. Like you're talking about, like the origin of the universe, right? Did God create it, or is evolution a Big Bang, right? They both has flaws, but the thing is, in the ultimate knowledge, it could be both combined or more than just both combined, right? That's the thing, is you dismiss the other side completely. So your side is a bunch of holes, right? And you stubbornly defend something that doesn't make sense even to you,
Right.
right? And so to me, that's a fallacy. The fallacy is you pick a side. Why do you have to choose side? Why do you have to take a red pill, or why do I have to take the blue pill? Why don't
you don't?
I mean, is there an option for me not to take anything, or is there an option for me to take both? Is it option for me to take two red and one blue, two blue and one red, 5, 8, whatever, right? There's infinite possibility. Who says this is the way thing has to be? Who says this is the limit of humanity? Who say this is the predetermined activities that humans should do?
Right. No one. I mean,
No one.
It's I
who put you in a box? You put yourself in the box.
Here's the thing: is like, once you realize you're not in a box anymore after you survive a catastrophic extinction event, whether that's on a micro level or on a massive level, like it happens every day, right? But once you realize that there is no box anymore, that's when the game changes, right? This is what I'm trying to say. Right. Like this is what I'm trying to say, is like, after catastrophe is a new life in a lot of ways, right? Where you go, oh, okay, shit. Well, that everything that I thought was, how this game was played isn't played this way. Like, and now I see completely different
rules,
right? Yeah. And then you go, okay, well, now I'm playing a different game. That means I got to operate by different, how I operate in this game, right? And therefore you become, with the learnings you took from surviving a catastrophe, right? Or I don't know how you want to describe it. Like I just, I go back to the atomic bomb, idea, right? If you survive it, like, you walk out of there going, it's a totally different, that day forward, the next step you take as life goes on is a different universe at that point in
It's a
time, right?
different playing field. You're talking about atomic bomb drop, right? It includes everything. You are on
Change
a
it, yeah.
different playing field, so it's not
Right.
the same playing field anymore. So the very next step you take, you're on a different field. You're
Right.
playing a different game. It's
Yep.
completely not the same thing. And so that's the ability for us to adapt. The adaptation theory, right? The adaptation theory is intertwined with the survival of the fittest theory, intertwined with a bunch of other theories that we don't know about.
I mean, look at COVID and the work from home life at this point in time. Like, working at home has not been a new thing. It's probably been around since like the mid 90s of commuters and whenever you had the internet or whatever, right? Like, there was certain people that did it, but it was always like a fringe, a world. Like,
But
look
working from home is what we started to do in the beginning, because
right.
before when I make you your chair, right? Where do I make them? I don't go to your house and make your chair for you, right?
Right.
I make a chair in my home and then I bring it to you. Hey, you asked for a chair. Here's a chair. I work from my home, right?
Right.
Most
Yep.
people work from home. Hey, I go and I cook something and I bring it over to you and I sell it to
Yep.
you, right? I work
Right.
from home. So it's not a new concept. It's just that we create this universal sense of a workplace,
Right.
where people go in and do the work, and then people get stuck into that, and they refuse.
That's the only paradigm I see. I mean,
they refuse to adapt.
right.
That's why I'm saying adaptability is a human strength,
But
but we
only
refuse to
adapt.
use it.
We only do it when we're forced to in an extinction event. I mean, like that's, whether it's a mass extinction event or whether it's a micro or extinction event. Either way, the only time that we
I mean, you look at your atomic bomb. You look at my midlife crisis. It
right.
is a extinction event at some level.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
forces
yeah,
you to say,
it
"Hey,
is.
I can't continue down this path. I have to stop,
Right.
and do something different."
The game isn't the game that I thought it was. Like, the game I thought I was playing was the one where I do what I'm supposed to do. I have my wife gets pregnant, has children, like, we raise kids, they grow up, they're happy, healthy, and everybody's happy, right? And this is how life works, right? And, like, that's not how my game worked. And also, I hate to say this, and I don't I would give anything to go play that game again, but, like, we've talked about this many times, throughout the course of this journey. Some of the shit that I understand now, I'm not supposed to understand this at this age. I'm not. Like, I really am not. I'm an adamant believer that I'm not supposed to be playing the game that I'm playing right now. I know that I'm not. And, like, the sheer fact that I am, like, that's, I don't know. It's hard for me to even have conversations sometimes with people, because I'm like, you guys just, like, you don't get it, and that's okay. I'm not going to spend time trying to make you get it, like, because you're not going to, and I wouldn't have either. It's not, and I'm, I'm not saying that it's because they don't understand. We're playing a different game now. Like, I'm playing a different game than I before. I would have argued about politics and about, where's the best school to go to and what's the best career path and, how to make the most money or whatever. I don't give a fuck. I just don't care. Like, it's not that is not has that has nothing to do with anything of what matters, what makes life worth
Right.
living.
The game has changed. The game has changed.
The game has changed.
Your I guess the desire, or the like, how you have a game where the desire in football is to score a touchdown or whatever, right? When you go and play a different game, the desire or the goal of the game is different.
Right.
So you're not looking for, hey, I'm looking for the best school. I'm looking for, the the best neighborhood or the best child care or anything like that. There's certain thing that it does not matter to you, because when you're playing basketball, you don't care if you want to run. You don't care if you're going to catch the ball and run, right? But because they're not the same game anymore. Well, you can't just throw the basketball and then you catch it and you run and say, hey, I'm going to run to the court and I get a touchdown. So to you, that effort is no longer important, because the game is different. The game for you is something else. So the desire for you or the goal for you is different. It's whatever it is. Like, hey, throw into the basket, whatever. basically it's a different game. When you have this mass extinction event, i.e. the atomic bomb, midlife crisis, whatever you want to call it, it's gonna forces you to reevaluate what kind of game you're playing, and you may be seeing yourself playing a different game.
Yeah, I mean, 1,000% truth, right? You know, it's like if before Amelia, like this whole pickleball, you know, venture, I would have probably been pretty terrified out of my mind, going, "Oh my god, like this is it." Like I either fucking spend a shitload of money on this that I've spent years and years and years of my life earning and saving and you know and building a you know a nest egg for my children or whatever, and then you know like it would have been throw all your eggs in a basket, right? Like I haven't even done it yet, but I don't care. Like, I mean, I truly don't give a shit anymore. Like, I'm just gonna do what I love to do because that's what I've learned is important in this life. That's what my daughter taught me, and it'll either work out or it won't work out. But I know that I'll enjoy doing it along the way, and that's all that really fucking matters to me at this point in time. So I don't really care how much money I spend on that, right? Like, I don't care if I got to spend $10 million on that or $100 million on that. I'll figure out a way to find the money if I need to do stuff that I love to do because that's what I promised her I would do. That's the only reason I'm even considering doing this stuff. That's the only reason why you and I talk every single night. Like, you know, that's because if it didn't matter, I'm not, you know, before in my old paradigm, before I would have thought, well, this is how you build a podcast. This is how you build a following. We got to build a following. You know, we got to say stuff that people give a shit about. We got to make sure we know our audience and understand what you know, like let's put some snappy promo stuff together, blah 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 blah, and then maybe we do like 5 to 10 of these things, and then we're like, you know, I don't know, it doesn't seem that fun anymore. You know what I mean? Like versus like the paradigm now is like we don't get together to like grow an audience. Like we get together because we want to talk about stuff that matters to us, you know, and we want to share our you know our life together and what we're learning and how we're trying to the new paradigm that both of us are on, you know, that we're both going, oh, I see the game you're on and I see the game that you're in and I want to go, I need somebody to go play the game with me, right? You know, and versus like I don't give a shit like if this thing ever turns
I mean,
into
if our goal is to build an audience, you and I won't won't last more than 10 episodes.
no, I mean, hell no. I mean, like it would. I mean, no. I mean, we probably wouldn't even known each other more than, you know, longer than you and David and I knew each other. You know what I mean? Like it would have been like, what, you know, cool. All right, that didn't work out. Like, you know, that's all right. We gave it a shot. You know, got a good story, learned a lesson, move on. You know, we'll keep fighting because you know that's what you do. Is you just got to get that next VC and go down to Sand Hill Road and kick all the tires and whatever the hell else you got to do, and you know, follow along with the blueprint and you know, like and just keep gritting your way through it, right? Passion.
But that's the thing is, you know, imagine doing that. It's just using sheer willpower to do that. It's just
worthless.
One work. I mean, it doesn't feel like you're having any fun. You're not enjoying what you do, you know. But when you talk about things that matters to you, it's just one of those things where you can do this without thinking, hey, we have to spend the effort. It's almost like a breeze in terms of the effort we put in.
It's not an effort.
It's not ever because you think about how long have we been doing this podcast? Like 2 years? Almost 2 years?
Well, I started this in September of 2021, the writing portion of it. So at least, yeah, probably almost 2 years now, because I think we probably started this in like January or February or something, you know, of 2022. Yeah, so it's probably been almost 2 years, yeah.
Yep, like and end of this year is 2 years. So that's what I'm saying is for somebody to get on a podcast every single night for 2 years without anything to show for, how can somebody have that much willpower? It's not possible.
It wasn't willpower, you know, and I mean we both, like
it cannot be willpower. Willpower only lasts you like 10 episodes. You can't get past 100 episodes. That 100 episodes is like a milestone, monumental milestone. That if you can do that, but for us, like, hey, 332, like, hey, we just started it. I think we're gonna run out soon. Shit, we're gonna run out soon. That's a different level of a different game. You're talking about different game. You're talking about, hey, we are concerned of catching up to your writing.
Do you see the bottom section down here?
Yes.
Page 539 of 539, 361,245 words.
Yes.
Like, do you know what the average book length is? That gets published, like, published book length, like
In
word
terms of
count.
word counts, 4,000 words.
No.
No,
It's like 50 to 80,000. Like
80.
80,000 words would be like a really long book. Commercially, right? Like,
Mhm.
like they tell you if you're writing a book over 100,000 words for your first book, they're like, you're doing something wrong. Because they're like, nobody's gonna fucking read it. Like, the only time you get a chance to write longer books, what they say, like, what a literary agent would say is if you've already, you're Stephen King,
If you
whatever.
stick Stephen King, right?
And yeah, people are like, oh, well, it's Stephen King, so I'll read it. Like, or you're J.K. Rowling, and you're like, oh, it's 500 pages, but it's Harry Potter. I'm gonna read it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that, like, the only time you get that extended, most people just look at the page count and they're like, oh, am I gonna read that? Oh, that's pretty fucking long. So like that's why, like, 50 to 80,000 words is like usually a pretty solid, like, if it was an audiobook, it'd be like 6 hours to 10 hours or something like that. You know what I mean? It's in that solid format range, of somewhere around there. Well, if you take that equivalent, say it's 80,000 words, this is 6 full fucking books, that have been written, in this journey, like, of what we've been talking about. So like once again, you go back to the point what you were just saying of, like, who writes 6 books for nobody to ever read, for no one to ever to commercialize, who talks about this stuff for hundreds of thousands of hours, I mean, for thousands and thousands of hours with somebody else, in addition to all the other things. You're like, for what? What's the point? It's because this has nothing to do with the, after catastrophe is a new life. Like, this is about, doing stuff that you love to do. I don't care how much money, time, and effort I put into something, as long as I'm enjoying it. Like, I don't give a shit if other people go, that's a commercial success or not. Other people enjoyed it. I don't care. Like, what? Why does that?
The thing is, that's the thing is, people always look for ways to make money, right? That's because they've been conditioned to say money brings you happiness. But money does not bring you happiness. Right. Money is just a transition to happiness. Money can buy happiness, right? Meaning, when you say, hey, I'm making money. If I say, Chris, I will give you $100 trillion, but you can't spend it. You can't do anything about it. You have money. Does it make you happy? Heck no. It's the money that gives you the ability to, hey, I'm gonna go buy me a tennis machine, right? That makes you happy. The activity makes you happy. Oh, I'm gonna go and buy me a microphone so I can talk, right? That makes you happy. I will go buy myself a microphone so I can record myself singing. That's making you happy.
I'll go spend $200 on a weighted vest so I can go run for a month outside in the cold,
Yes.
And you're like, why? I don't know, because I want to, because it's like, because it's challenging, and I have a month of challenge. That's one of my core values.
So people misunderstand about what makes them happy, and they chase the secondary thing, right? It's not directly what makes chase the thing that makes you happy directly, because they say, hey, playing tennis makes you happy, right? And having a machine ball to allow you to play tennis makes you happy. Then trying to get that first. Money is only a transition to what you wanted. So having the money, like when you chase the money, it doesn't give you this energy. It doesn't, because the thing is, because in order for you to chase money, because money is a man-made construct, and because it's a man-made construct, when you try to chase it, you have to trade your willpower to chase it, right? When you trade your willpower to chase it, it's not a pleasant experience. This is why a lot of people get burnt out as an entrepreneur, right? They're chasing the money.
Yep.
Because money is not,
or they're chasing other things, like, prestige, or
they're chasing
other people,
things that doesn't matter to them. So that way they needed to use willpower to make that effort. And that's the reason why they cannot continue long term, because it is something they don't care about, and that creates this awful, miserable journey. But if you chase something that you truly cares about, right? Chase directly. If you love to play tennis, right? You chase tennis directly, and I say, oh, I'm going to chase making money, still have time to go play tennis,
Right.
right?
Does make
Because you
sense.
think
Like
about
the
it, hey,
Mexican fisherman, scenario kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah,
why,
saying, yeah, I'll go buy a barge ball, I make a bunch of fish, move to
no. You
America.
say, well, if I want to play a lot of tennis, what I got to do is I got to go, go to college, raise a bunch of funds, meet a bunch of rich people, and then convince them to let me go run a tennis facility and raise, and then after I make it successful and I have like an hour or
A
two to
huge amount
myself
of money,
once
then
a
you go
week,
play
and I
tennis.
got a huge amount, then I'll just go play tennis in my tennis club, and you're like, well, you could have just go play tennis,
Just play tennis.
like
Yeah.
like you
But
didn't have.
the thing is,
Oh,
running a facility is not what you want, and that particular journey to play tennis,
right.
it's just a miserable journey. You think about it.
Yes.
You think about, hey, you just want to play tennis, right? You go play tennis, say, hey, it requires no willpower, no energy. That it actually creates energy for you. You get
Right.
energized after you play tennis. Versus, hey, I'm gonna go and run this facility, do all this accounting, do all these taxes, making people, checking people in, do all the kind of shit, go clean the locker, blah blah blah, right? Mop the
Right.
floor, blah blah blah, clean up the sweat,
So
blah
you
blah
play
blah,
tennis.
right? Clean the toilet, all that stuff, right? So you can play tennis.
Right.
That is a miserable existence. And so to
Yes.
me, this is where people got it wrong. And they've been conditioned to chase the dollar because they think that dollar what's going to bring them money. Because you think about it, people say, hey, I'm going to work really hard so I can play hard.
Right.
What, why can't you just play it, right?
And figure out how to make
Play
money off of that, eventually.
exactly. If you put in an effort or something, and that is one of the core tenet of company is we believe that what you do has value to somebody. We just have to find who values it and
Yeah,
do the exchange.
of
And so
course.
whether you're playing tennis, whether you catching fish, or making soap,
That was the point of money, by the way. It was an exchange of value. It was a way for you to exchange, make transactions easier to exchange things of value,
mm-hmm.
for one person to another person. It was not to just collect money, like for money's sake. It was never meant to be that. Like to your point, that was just a note to say, I value this much. Like, here, do you agree that you want to give me something that you value this much as well, right? Like that I can then go exchange for something that I value, and whatever. I mean, I'm not explaining anything that's groundbreaking here or anything like that, but like to your point, there is no
But
inherent value in money itself.
that's the point is people forget that's the reason why we have money is to
Right,
exchange
to
value.
exchange value, right? Yeah.
And today people forget that point and they keep chasing the thing that has no value, and they say, hey, I need to go to the workforce to create this value, which really isn't valuable. It's just a bunch of waste. It's just a
Yep.
bunch of waste because you think
It
about,
is.
hey,
It's horrible.
that they're so inefficient in terms of what people want, right? They say, hey, you don't really need it, but I'm going to sell it to you anyway, right? You're going to have things you don't care about. You have a bunch of knickknacks that, hey, I don't need it, I don't want it, but I have it and I pay for it and I exchange that value. So it's not really an exchange of value in a modern day anymore. It's just a concept that people being conditioned to think and to possibly believe in.
Yeah,
That's what I want.
I gotta make money. Like, I mean, I talked about this with one of my team members, his fiance, girlfriend, I don't know if they're like engaged, but his significant other, they've been together for a long time. I've been mentoring her as well, per his ask and her ask, actually, because she was like, I love the stuff that you guys do. She was like, she asked her significant other, who was on my team, like, you think Chris would be open to like helping me out? And I was like, sure, why not? Of course. Like, so I've been doing this now for, I don't know, it's probably like 3 months with her. We've been going through the core values quest. It's been an interesting journey. She's an artist, she's an actress, and she produces like short films and things like that as well. And recently, like, she's been going through this whole journey and been loving it, like, discovering things that she values and why she values it, and and it's helped to open up her eyes to a lot of things as well. Well, she with her creative partner, she started this like these like little videos they started making during the writer strike and the actor strike that was going on because they couldn't work. So they were just creatively expressing themselves and producing these contents and directing and creating the whole entire thing. And she was like having a blast, like absolutely loving every minute of it, you know, doing this stuff and yada yada yada. And then about 3 weeks after they launched their first couple of videos, they did this for like months, and then after like 3 weeks of actually releasing this and sharing this with the world, you know, she started to get this well, she's like, but now it's like we started an LLC, like, you know, now we're you know, like we gotta start making money eventually. She was like, I can only, you know, I'm privileged enough to be able to take this time off of work and everything and be able to do whatever, but eventually, like, I got to start making money again, you know. And I was like, why? I was like, she goes, and I'm not saying that she doesn't ever have to make money again, but she was like, because I mean, I can't keep making, you know, content that nobody ever, that, you know, that doesn't result in any money. I was like, well, are you enjoying it? She was like, yeah, I'm having a fucking blast. She was like, this is the most creative I've ever probably feel like I've been in my life. And, you know, I really feel like my partner and I we're really getting along well. And I'm like, well, then, like, you know, like I'm hearing this and I'm going, well, just keep going. It'll work out, you know, like, and you know, and she is in that paradigm that you and I were just talking about of well, but I got to make money, you know, like, I mean, how much I like, it doesn't, I can't just meet with True every night, you know, and never make a dime. Like, I mean, you know, like that's, like, that can't be, you know, like, and I go, fine, that's true. I mean, I don't disagree with you. You do have to make money to live your life, but like the stuff that I do all day long, like, helps me to be able to do this stuff, right? You know, and do I love it? Maybe not. I mean, some of the aspects I do. I found ways to make it, you know, this is why I went to go to the job that I'm doing now, is because 80% of it is enjoyable now versus 10% of it was enjoyable before, right? You know, so at least it's not, I get to do more of what I value in this job. You know, is it full clubbing and stuff? No, of course not. We'll continue to work to get toward that thing. But at the end of the day, like do stuff that you love to do because you love to do it. Like, don't ever stop. If you find that, like, you don't stop, you know, because that is the paradigm that is the difference, you know, is when you know that you love something and you know why you love something, you don't fucking stop. Like, you don't even, there's not even a, you know, not even a thought in your head. Like, you endure. That's what you endure for, right? That is what
that's the point of life. That's the point of life, because you gotta do things that makes you feel like, hey, you know, this is something that I enjoy doing. Because whether you go in there and you go, hey, I want to go talk about life or whatever, if that's, you enjoy that, you do that. If you say, hey, I enjoy go and taste a bunch of different food every day, become a foodie, right? You're gonna do that regardless of whether we pay pays you. You're gonna say, hey, I'll pay, you know, to go eat, but I'm going to um analyze the food, right? And say, I like this food because it's this and this and whatever. And then you say, well, you that's something you do. Whether or not you make money from it, that is not the point. The point is, right, you like to go eat food. You're not gonna stop. You think about it. Hey, if you love food, right? You're not gonna stop eating. I guarantee you that you're gonna find all the money in all the places to go and find ways to go eat that. But the moment that you get to the point where you have eaten much, much more than everybody else, then your experience of what food, what restaurant, what to eat, what to order, and how to order it becomes extremely, extremely valuable. But only after you have surpassed everybody. Because the thing is, if you say, hey, I've eaten at 10 restaurants, at 10 dishes, right? How are you gonna make money? Well, there's people who have eaten 100. Well, how are you gonna compete with that? But if you eat 1,000 and you have give the analysis, right? Right. But the thing is, beyond that point of having value, even if you after you eat 100,000 restaurants, 100,000 dishes, you still continue to go and eat and explore your culinary, you know, desire, whatever it is. You're gonna continue to do it because that fuel you and fuel your feelings and your happiness, regardless whether you make money. But because it, like I say, this is where you have this twist of the two core, right? Talking about having the ability to, you know, analyze the food, but because you're able to do it so much, it becomes a value on its own, and that and that allows you to do more food, right? So it's a spiral upward, but
This
only
is what
until
we're
then.
doing right now, Drew. Like I'm reading a lot and learning a lot, and you and I are reading a lot and learning a lot together. If I didn't have something new to share with you all the time, we wouldn't talk about this. We would have stopped doing Yomo a long time ago. You'd have been like, yeah, Chris, we already talked about that. Like we did that a long time. What are you gonna come out with today? This is why I learn. I don't learn for you. I learn because I want to learn. But now I just, like you just said, I've been to hundreds of restaurants at this point in time, and this is, and I continue to try new restaurants.
But the thing is, you think about it, without you and me reading all these books, would you have become an effective leader in this company?
No.
That exactly. This is what I'm saying is, like, because what you did, you become more valuable than you were before.
Not even just more valuable, it's an ongoing value. The spiral is going up and up and up because like I learn new stuff all the time.
And how would you be able to coach? How would you be able to coach this new lady person if you don't have anything to say?
I wouldn't. Like, I mean, like it's
yeah, it sounds good. Just continue to do it, right?
Right. Like,
what did you say to give her the understanding? Because you and I have talked, right? And that expanded our knowledge. Yes, we know nothing, but we know more and more every day because of our interaction. And that affords you the ability and the insight to ask the right questions to this lady so that she can say, well, oh yeah, I see your point. Or to another person at your work to make that person become, optimal for the work that they want to do. And so it's
or
a
the person I want to be.
Upward.
I mean, like, right? Yes, exactly. It never ends either when you're doing stuff you love. Like it's to your point.
It never ends, and it gets stronger, and it becomes like you become world class without without in that. Hey, I want to become world class. No, I just want to learn, and I want to do the things that make me feel like I'm living for two. That's all you're doing, but you become world class without trying to be world class. That's the only way we won't become world class.
That's exactly
because
right.
If you say, "Hey, I want to be world class," you will never be because you are distracted with the need to become world class.
The idea of the idea of reaching the top of the mountain. Like there is no top of the mountain. Like it's you just keep climbing. Like that's. I mean, it just. If you're on the right mountain, in general. But like you reminded me of my friend Kevin I've talked to you about with the guy that's like Ask Kevin, and we talked about making a website for him of like it's like Ask Kevin, you're going somewhere, like you need a hotel recommendation, restaurant recommendation, flights, where to go, what to eat, like where to, like you want your entire itinerary just handed to you on a silver platter, with multiple options. Like just ask Kevin, right? So joking around, like we went to San Juan, Puerto Rico at the beginning of this month, right, for one of my friends' 40th birthdays, and it was the couples that went, we get down there and first night we're like, so what do we want to do, like besides just like eat and drink on the beach, and everybody was like, I don't know. I mean, like they're like Googling stuff, me and I turned to one of my best friends who's also really, Kevin would have been on this trip with us, and unfortunately he actually just recently went to Switzerland or something like that, like a couple weeks before, and like he I don't know, he just like couldn't take off any more time or whatever, which sucked because it would have been fun to have him there. But I turned to one of my best friends who was the guy that was the 40th birthday and who's also really close friends with Kevin. And I was like, we should just ask Kevin. And he's like, oh yeah, that's good. Yeah. So I just in our group message thread, I added Kevin into it, and I texted him. I'm like, hey, we're in San Juan, Puerto Rico for 3 days, or four nights. 3 nights, 4 days, right? I was like, what would you do? And he goes, oh, give me a minute, So he pulls out his little itinerary and he's like, oh, this is what we did when we were here, and this is, you need to go here, do this, like side attractions, blah, blah, blah. Like send us the entire fucking itinerary in a text message, while we're all sitting at our dinner on the first night after we just got there. And and they're like, damn, that actually really works. Like, I was like, yeah, because to your point, like he loves to do this shit. He makes all these itineraries and he goes all these places and he loves to just travel just for, this is something that he really cares about, and like food is something he really cares about, and helping people is something that he really cares about. So like he does these things for himself because he also hates not being organized when he's traveling. He hates it. Like, I mean, like you can't fucking travel with him without having a fucking itinerary. And I'm like, this is insane. Like me, I would rather just walk in. I would rather hop on a flight to I don't even know where, just show up and be like, what am I gonna do? I don't know. I'll figure it out. Let's start walking, and then I'll ask some people as I'm going, hey, where'd you guys go? And they're like, that's how I have fun, when I'm going to new places and exploring it. Like I hate being scripted on a travel adventure. For me, it's just an adventure. Just go about my day and whatever. But Kevin like absolutely loves this shit, right? So like this is to your point of like you don't get to be the person that people are like, oh, just ask Kevin. Like and I'm not joking. He should start his own website and he should charge people for this. But who knows? Maybe he will someday. But either way, he's not going to stop traveling and making itineraries and helping his friends out whenever they ask him, right? Because he's probably been there and he probably has an itinerary.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of it. It's like if you chase the things that makes you feel good, you have twofold. One is you love the journey, and then the second is whenever you have amassed so much of these activities, you will come world class just by the sheer size of how much you put into it.
Right.
And that's where value comes in, because you think about how much will you pay to how much people have these tour guides, right? You have to pay these tour guides money, right? And if you are a kind of guy that wants something without having to spend the time and effort, right? Will you pay Kevin money to do it? Oh yeah, I would, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the value comes in, because he has been to so many places. He is above and beyond the rest. And this is why his services is more valuable. But because he loves it, his journey is fun and enjoyable, and he brings even more value than most people, because the sheer size of the fun, it's going to surpass any people who is trying to do by willpower alone. Because you think about you and I do the podcast by sheer power, we're probably gonna quit probably like 20, 30, maybe 40, 50 if we really pushing it, right? If we have like a huge, bank of willpower, which I don't.
Right.
Right? Because I'll probably quit after 2.
I mean, I could probably
you
do a
can
month.
drag me along for another 10 more days, like 10 days max, but
Right.
I probably would quit after that.
My
I can't go any more than that.
My grandma podcast, right? We did I think we did like I want to say like probably 16 episodes, right? So that's four-ish, probably 5 months, because we probably skipped like a couple, like 5 months. And like I got tired of it. Like, and I'm not saying I don't love my grandparents, like my grandmothers, I love them to death, and it was a ton of fun. I enjoyed it, but like I was like, I'm out of questions. I don't know what to ask you anymore. Like I don't want to like just force this, to force it. Like, but I legitimately don't want to know anything more about your life, at this stage, like and
Right.
Like I learned what I wanted to learn. But to your point, like I stopped that. Like it was just like I told my grandma this one time. I was like, I'm kind of out of questions. Like, like I mean, like, and like I mean, I don't know what else to do, but I don't have any more questions. I don't want to talk about this anymore, and I don't know that they wanted to either. They liked hanging out with me. I think they enjoyed hanging out with their grandson, and I enjoyed hanging out with my grandmothers. But I think like I could just go hang out with them once a week,
But the agenda is not what makes you enjoy. You don't enjoy the agenda activity. You enjoy the company, but you enjoy the activity. And so that's the thing is sheer power can only get you so far. And that's the reason why a person who loves what they do can surpass you without even blinking, because hey, I'm just doing what I want to do. Like you and me, we're doing this for almost 2 years, and we thought it was only like recently we started doing this, and you say, "Oh my goodness, it's 332."
32. Yeah, I mean we're almost at the 365. That's wild. Like honestly, that is fucking mind blowing. Actually, all right, let's put a pin in this one for the night, because we got more to talk about. It's already 10 o'clock. I'm sure. So anyway, but
yeah,
all right, fun conversation as always. Question we can leave with everybody. Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I said don't embrace the catastrophe. Catastrophe is a catastrophe.
Right.
Learn to navigate your journey based on who you need to be, who you are, versus, because catastrophe is one thing, right?
Right.
And I think that is something that is beyond our understanding and our theories of why something happened. And so we shouldn't be too attached to one theory or another. So I wouldn't embrace it. I would say embrace the little what you call it, the omens. Like watch, see the omen, what it tells you,
Right.
you to do. Like you say,
Listen to the omens. Yeah,
follow the Linus track footprint.
I like it.
That's all
Perfect.
you gotta do.
That's it. That's all you gotta
That's
do.
it.
Thanks for joining, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night for next new book. Yeah.
Sounds good. Good night, buddy.